Today on the Mix Minute, we have Stef Moro, recording mixing engineer for Kanye, Snoop Dogg, Wiz Khalifa, Travis Scott, a bunch more. We are giving away over $850 in plugins from AudioThing. Thank you, AudioThing, for sponsoring the video. Stef is also a big fan of AudioThing, so it kind of worked out perfectly.
Yes.
We're going to show how he used some of the plugins in his mix with a whole lot of other stuff. Stay tuned. Stef, thanks for being on the show, man.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, glad to
Thank
have you.
so much.
Steve is joining us from Nashville in his cozy home studio. So to get started, what are we looking at today? What's our session file for the day?
So today we have a session of my friend Zeon of Wallace Lane, amazing producer that also has this project of his own that he started like years ago, but just right now he started releasing music. So this is the very
So
first
this
song
is
that
this
we did
like a
together.
solo project of
It
his?
is a solo project, yes.
Who's he? Whenever he's been producing for other people, who's the artists that he like works with?
He's been working with Drake, Ye, Travis Scott, a lot of people.
Very cool.
Wallace Lane is a duo. It's two brothers. They've been making music for, I don't know, 15 years, working with, all of the best artists. And yeah, we became friends, started working together. He showed me his music and we started like just, recording.
Nice. So
And
you recorded this too?
I recorded other songs, not this one. This one he recorded at
Oh, cool.
home. I
Like a
just
home
mixed
studio?
It. Yeah,
Nice.
I mixed it here. But yeah.
Well, even though you didn't record this, I think people would be interested in what your normal like recording chain is. You do like a lot of vocals mostly. I know you do all kinds of stuff, but yeah, maybe you could share what your normal like vocal chain for some of these high level artists usually are.
So in here at Studio B3, the chain that I use for the most when there's no time for sound check, it's a Sony C800G going into an EP1073, pretty classic. With the EQ, I EQ quite a lot actually. 1073, and then it really depends by the singer. Usually it's the 1176, but if it's something more, like more maybe vintage, I would go LA2A.
Nice.
Slow, like female vocals, I usually prefer the CL1B, but yeah, 1176, I will say 70%.
Nice. And what do you, whenever you said you usually do a lot of EQ, like what's your goal whenever you're adding EQ on the way in? I assume it's like different for each artist.
Yeah, absolutely. So on a 1073, of course, you have the high pass that, well, the goal is not giving to the compressor frequencies that you don't want to avoid, bumping and like problems on usually on the release and also on the attack of the compressor. So usually I high pass might be 80, sometimes it's even 160, and then the cutting some low mid frequencies, usually that's the thing that I do, and boosting the high frequencies, not even too much usually if you have like bright microphones. And
Nice.
so yeah, that's usually what I do. I try not to overdrive the preamp too much on urban music, but
Is it the same with
depends.
compression? Are you kind of like light-handed with it, like not a ton of compression, or do you smash
It depends. If I have to mix, or IRKO too, no, yeah, I just mix as if there's no mixing. So I record like there's no mixing pretty much. If I have to deliver the recording to someone else mixing it, something that I'm not really doing it that much, but in that case, I just don't use the compressor because you never know.
You never know what they.
But a lot of times through the patch bay, I can record both signals, compressed and uncompressed.
Yeah.
So that's something that I do. I used to do it every time. Now that I pretty much mix everything that I record pretty much. I don't do it anymore, but yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I was interested in that because as we were talking about before we started, I'm setting up a studio right now. This is and I'm creating a patch bay layout, and that's one of the things that I wanted to do is normal some of them, so I can mirror, or I can't remember if it's a full normal or half normal.
Half normal, you can do that.
Yeah, half normal to mirror it, and yeah, me and Steve were talking about this in the last episode, like that. One of the things that I struggle with as an engineer is like that commitment. So I'm always wanting to like mirror something so I have a, like a backup.
Oh yeah.
In case. And that's one of the things I admire about Steve. Like the last episode we did, it was all, he wrote the song to do a demo for Audioscape. They have an LA2A, the Opto comp. and he virtually didn't mix with any plugins at all. He's just all on the way in, and I was saying like that commitment like is scares me, but I know that like it's something that you know should be comfortable with as an engineer. So
It's just easier to hear a vocal feel like it can compete with like the rest of the mix. You know, I feel like if I came in and had to work on the rest of a song, it would be really hard to just hear this like kind of weak vocal and build around that, you know? I think that's why committing at the beginning is helpful.
Yeah, that too. It really depends by the workflow and how much you know your studio too and your gear. Like if I'm here, I would probably use compression on the way in 99% of the times. If I'm recording in a hotel room or, you know, I'm just using a normal interface, just straight to the mic. And also I'm not really doing rap music, the compressed and non-compressed vocals, because you got to be super fast. So
yeah,
a lot of times, you know, there's no time for sound check, no time for, you know, just waiting a second to like have everything.
yeah, dude. That's
Could be
being in some
super
of those
fast.
sessions, watching people like that. Yeah, the first time I witnessed like a pop recording session, I was blown away by how fast the engineer has to work to keep up with the you know the artist just laying down takes, and it's like there's some weird telekinesis happening, like mind connection, where they are just knowing, you know.
You don't even speak. You
Yeah.
don't even know what's gonna happen. That's why the compressor might really help you not to have like a big write on Pro Tools. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
You never
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, shall we dive in to the mix?
Let's
See
do
what
it.
we're looking at.
Let's do it.
Cool. So I think maybe like starting out, just giving us like an overview of what all you have in here,
Yeah.
and maybe we can play you know the song back as a whole first, and then you can kind of show off what the different elements are, and then we can get into the like details and stuff.
Of course. This is a pretty classic hip hop song. They sampled a lot of live instruments too, or played. I'm not sure. I think the bass is it's live bass actually played, and then we have a snare drum that is definitely sampled and taken from I don't know. And then we have the main sample, definitely MPC, and vocals, lead vocal, some doubles, couple background vocals, and one bridge part that sounds different. All of the rest is kind of like added some vocal effects to it, but it is a very simple song. It's not overcomplicated. Yeah. So let's play it.
Yeah.
Together we can weather any storm.
You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever. And you and I whenever, we can weather any storm together. You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever. And you and I whenever, we can weather any storm. They say that every story ends, we forever and more. Just know we in the zone like never before. Till we exit the doors like Jim Morrison. Till every gem is stone in the Smithsonian. I go insane whenever I flip the Sony on. It's us against the world, we Sonya Blade and Scorpion. You picture perfect, always thought that you could be a model. You never had a portrait like Frida Kahlo. And if not, go against me and Mia Wallace. We off his top, headless horsemen in Sleepy Hollow. We ready for war, just send the coordinates instead of over with. Just stick the fork in it, I send condolences. This love is unconditional, forever set in stone. Little Sedona, just love witnessing you grow. Together we can weather any storm, and if the weather gets cold, just know I'll never let y'all go. You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever. And you and I whenever, we can weather any storm together. Yeah. You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever. And you and I whenever, we can weather any storm. Why look at these massive pedals and crooked roads? Look how we rose from a perfect storm. Fire, lightning, and thunder on every record. With every verse and chorus, the message is spreading. Like embers in a burning forest in every direction. I'm back in the booth, this passion too important. Took it back to the essence, but still we're moving forward. Took it back to the roots, and now they're rooting for us. It's the rockin' earthy tones and the newest forms. I want you now more than ever. want you now more than ever. I need you now. Yeah. I want you now more than ever. I need you now. I want you now more than ever. I need you now. You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever. And you and I whenever, we can weather any storm together. You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever. And you and I whenever, we can weather any storm.
Sick.
Right?
Dude, Steve, and everybody listening, I wish you guys could hear the bass in this room. It's fucking awesome. It's like so clear. This studio we're in, yeah, I guess we should talk about that too. Yeah,
Exactly.
we're in Studio Beat 3, which is IRKO and Stef's studio here in Pasadena. And it was like built from the ground up in LA, which is like rare. You know, every studio in LA has been, you know, either really old studio that's been around forever or like some other building that's been repurposed. But yeah, this is like dead quiet, room
Yeah.
inside of a room. And yeah, the big Augsburgers, like it sounds so good.
20 dBs loud, 28 dBs loud with the speakers on and the AC on, so like super quiet.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I know for sure.
And all of the, which I'll grab some B-roll to show everybody before we leave here. But yeah, all of this beautiful like woodwork and acoustic treatment was all designed and built in Italy
Yeah,
and
from
then
Italy.
shipped here on a boat and
Great.
assembled.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
why
sweet.
it took like 6-7 years to find the
So cool.
spot. Yeah, this was a parking lot, but back then. So, and the studio is underground too. So and it's concrete, and we have the apartments too. So
Yeah.
it's been a process, but we're super happy for sure.
Worth it now, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
for the bass.
Cool, man. Well, it sounds like a sweet mix. And I think I would like to see what your vocal chain is looking like on that. Just start with the star of the show.
So, let's start with what he sent me
Oh, yeah, that's great.
first, because I do a lot of automations on vocals. So of course at some point I do have to commit like the first part of my chain after the compression, so then I can do a lot of automations. But I'll play you the vocal without any automation, just my chain right now.
You and I together, we can
Yeah, he usually record with good gear, but not a lot of compression, like or almost nothing, for what I can see here. Maybe just a couple of dBs. It was probably a Sony mic. Yeah, at home. So I'll play maybe the hook.
You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever. And you and I whenever, we can weather any storm together. You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever. And you and I whenever, we can weather any.
And I'll play it without effects right now.
You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever.
Of course, you have way less volume. But
Yeah.
And you and I whenever,
Like
we can
just
weather
flat.
any storm together.
So, of course, we still have some reverb. This song only has like one reverb, and then some one shot.
What kind of verb are you using?
I'm using here, I think the 480. Let me see.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
It's always funny when you solo up a vocal and you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there's much more reverb than you think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it is kind of dark.
It's hiding. Yeah, I like how kind of short it is too.
Yeah, it's I'll tell you, it's 2 seconds, but it's the how's it called? Relab 480. Yeah, I used to
Oh, yeah.
lexicons. Yeah, I love that one. And it's kind of like 2000, 2K. And let me see, it's 700. Yeah,
Nice.
hertz. So it's very like mid-range. It's not even with a sidechain after it with the vocal. So I think like
You and I together.
I
we
know,
can weather
just
any
1 dB,
storm
like
whenever.
very,
Just to
very
let
light.
some of the
Yeah.
vocal come
You
through
and
before
I will
the
never-
tail.
Exactly, so
weather-
it doesn't sound too 80s.
Yeah.
So, and then, so the
Classic.
yeah, the first plugin that I
You and
almost
I
always use, usually it's
Hey, AudioThing.
AudioThing. Yep. Made in Italy.
Yeah, what do you
Made
got?
in Italy.
Yep.
So that, yeah, Steph, and AudioThing have a lot in common because Steph is from Italy.
Yes.
AudioThing is still in Italy, and I lived under a bridge in Italy for a short period, and then a nature preserve. Whenever I was broke and backpacking and needed a place to stay.
I've done the same in LA. For sure. So this,
I'm from New Jersey, which is basically Italy, so
oh yeah, that's true.
Lots of pizza, people with mustaches. Yeah.
yeah.
So Taipei kind of gives me the shiny top end of the vocal that I like, that usually you don't have on, on cheap mics. Here I'm not using it very heavy because of course the sound is pretty bright and has enough color to it.
What is this plugin, really quick, if you didn't already say
It's
that?
like an
I'm not-
Is
emulation
it like the
of
Dolby, right?
Yeah, it's exactly. It's a
Oh,
Dolby
like the
Taipei.
exciter, the oral exciter?
It's not really like it used to. I don't even know how, but they say that for tape machines it used to kind of like control the noise.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of, not the oral exciter. Yeah, it was like a noise reduction
Exactly.
unit, and people like
Yeah.
modded it or something like
Yeah,
that.
to have the mix, or you can just use other 2 channels and kind of
cool.
like add.
I think like some Tascams even had like a function too where it was the same thing where it's like DBX noise reduction, and then
even
people like
DBX has one. Yeah.
realized it did something to the high end they liked.
Yeah, and it's a multi-band. I think like some sort of like multi-band compressor with 4 bands, and right now I'm just it's like the classic technique of the Taipei. Just don't use band 1 and 2, that is low frequencies and mid-low frequencies, and I'm just adding some signal to like 40% in this case. It's not even, yeah, it is kind of happy, but the difference is huge. So let's hear it.
You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever. You and
Yeah,
I
adds
together,
a lot of
we
air.
can weather any storm whenever. You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever.
With the air, of course, also all of the problems, because it's you can control attack and release here, but you don't really have a control over the threshold. Like in every single band, you can kind of do it with the input. There are some ways to do it, but kind of change the shape of the sound. So of course you gotta just really pay attention about how much you're,
Yeah.
So after it,
You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever.
Wow,
You
that's
and
like
I
pretty
together,
aggressive
we
too
can
with
weather-
low cut.
it
You and
is
I-
it is 72 dBs per octave. It is heavy. He's
You
never
and I together, we can
going
weather any
lower
storm
than this
whenever.
note.
You and I together,
So
we can weather.
I'm still having all of the notes. Kind of fixing like these low mids, and then it's all of this is before the compression. So of course with the compression, everything will come up.
Yeah.
So as long as I have all of the notes, I'm not really concerned about like all of these. This is not. We
You
don't
and
really
I
have
together,
notes in
we
here.
can weather any storm
So,
whenever.
yeah, I do go
You and
pretty
I
aggressive.
together, we can weather any storm whenever. You and I.
So then we have
You
de-esser,
and I together, we can weather any storm whenever.
simple, not
You and
really
I-
picky on de-essers. And
You and
then-
I together, we can weather any storm whenever.
And that's where we get our volume.
And you and I whenever.
Yeah,
we can
let me
weather
send
any
you
storm
six.
together.
It's almost a limiter. Yeah, a lot of years ago, IRKO brought me into this 12:1 ratio fast attack, fast release thing, and it's crazy. It really it's like a limiter, but it doesn't sound like cold, if it's a word in audio in the other world, but as an L2 or other limiters. So there's
You and I together, we
That's
can weather any
character
storm
too.
whenever.
Yeah, a lot of character. Yeah.
And you and I whenever. We can weather any
And of
storm
course, I love
together.
the volume, so I know that, and this is just the first part of the mix. So I know that after this, I kind of like fix the high frequency problem, some lows, the S's, and the compression. So after these, if I just commit it, let's do it right now, just for the hook. So yeah. I don't have any breaths in the hook, so I probably won't have to edit them. But usually that's something that I do on this stage. It's just doing a lot of automations, like clip gain automations.
While we're waiting for this, don't forget to sign up for the AudioThing giveaway. Over $850 in plugins. Very generous from the homies at AudioThing. These Italians, I love them. Click the link in the description, sign up. You can get extra entries if you subscribe to us on YouTube, which seems like that'd be a pretty cool thing to do anyway. And signing up for their email list, etc., etc. Hit the description.
While we're waiting for Pro Tools.
So I got to double back on this. So do you cut manually breaths out, or are you automating them down?
Automating them down. If I have a breath overlapping another word, of course I'm gonna cut it. But 95% of the times I'm just doing a lot of automations. Yeah, Pro Tools not
responding.
Wait a second. Maybe I know what it is. It's actually the server that went to sleep for a second. Let me see. Yeah, it did. It's okay. He'll come back. And so yeah, I automate all of the problems that you have with heavy compression, and also Type A will bring up, a lot of, yeah, there you go.
Nice.
It'll probably create like an
See,
error.
Avid, it's not your fault.
Have you ever tried?
It wasn't Avid's fault this time. What do you say?
The isotope breath control thing?
I've used that a bit in voiceover stuff before.
Yeah, if you don't want to spend like the whole day editing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
I've
is
only
like...
used it
Oh, go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say I think I've only used it a couple times, but I feel like it's shockingly pretty good.
It's like too good for the
But I'm with you.
voiceover stuff.
I'm so
like,
manual. Yeah.
it will like make it, take the life completely out of it and make it sound weird. Cause like, I want to have like a little bit of the,
Yeah.
breathing sound, and yeah, it will like fucking eliminate everything.
Yeah, it's when you overcut the ums too, where you're like, what?
Yeah, even Waves had one, but I don't remember it. But,
I'm done with Waves. I gave up. I was up to like 3 different installers, Waves installers, because they make you get a different installer for whatever version you have.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, I can't do this anymore for my like silly little bass fingers or whatever it's called. And
Yeah.
they have some good ones. I like the Abbey Road stuff, but yeah, it was just like...
Yeah, for
Yeah, I
me,
like that.
I
Can't do it
did
anymore.
quit Waves like 3 years ago. But then, like, all of my clients did their sending me sessions with all
That's
Wave
true, yeah.
plugins. And also, like, I'm kind of...
Yeah.
There are some plugins that I really don't have another option. Like, Doubler. There are certain plugins that, I've been
Isotope
using
has a
that.
doubler now.
I know. I should...
I haven't tried it yet.
I did, but I don't know. Like,
Doesn't scratch the itch.
I'm just so used to that one that I don't know. There's just certain plugins but I don't know. I'm moving like same license from one computer to the other. Like I know it's struggle for sure, but anyway, here you can see that compared to before, the waveform is way different. And of course, we're gonna have the attack of, I don't know, see, like, this thing's really loud, which is...
You and I together, we can weather.
Like this G is super loud. You can
Oh,
hear
yeah.
this thing, right? Now, this is not really a big problem, but what I would do is literally just automate all of these things.
I together, we can weather any storm whenever.
S's, usually, they're not a problem, like, if I use because I've used the de-esser before, but
Yeah.
you might have some other sounds like F's
Sometimes
or like sh,
Yeah.
that the de-esser might not.
sometimes T's are hard too.
T's.
Like just overall, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever used Soothe?
Yeah, I use Soothe on every mix.
Yeah, Soothe is the
It's one of my
jam.
favorite plugins
Same.
ever, for sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I use it for de-essing too every now and then. Yeah, it depends. But
Do you put it on like the mix bus or?
no, just single tracks. On the music,
Okay, yeah.
like the synths and everything that has like sustain,
Mhm.
I use it a lot actually. On vocals,
Nice.
I might use it only if I have problems, like if it wasn't recording in a professional studio. So, but yeah, I pretty much do all of the automations till I'm happy. And as you can see, like these two, I automated everything. I just committed it so you can see the animations. But you can clearly
Oh,
see
nice.
that the
Yeah,
brass
that's like
are
dead
automated,
level.
like
Yeah.
yeah, everything is automated. You don't
I'm with you about the committing. I just mixed a song for these guys from Denmark, I think, and I was like, plugins on the drums, print them through like 1073s, bring it back, more plugins. Just like keep moving and like
Yeah.
keep the computer functioning.
exactly. And if you know what you want, it's it's easy. I know what
Yeah.
my clients want. I know what I want, and if I can make them happy right at the beginning during the recording session and have something that will stay as it is till the end of the mix, that's even better.
Yeah.
Path of,
Especially for the people who get like the demo-itis
Path
thing,
of
where it
least.
sounds too different.
So at least they have demo artists with something good and not like a
Yeah.
trashy mix.
yeah.
So, and then I have the second part, because this is still my compressor, right? So I can automate, and I don't have to automate these because if I have to do automations on the recording, of course it's gonna be a mess. And he already did some clip gain here and there. That's what the producer did, but it's also the artist in this case. And then we have these plugins right here. So I have all of this chain because sometimes I use parallel distortion, parallel compression, not in this case.
So this is after you've committed, you are now sending
Yes.
to this aux.
To this aux, yes.
Cool.
That will go to all of the effects too. So in here,
Weather any storm,
now we're cooking.
weather any storm whenever. And you and I, whenever we can weather any storm together.
this is actually on the hook I did put another. I didn't even see this one. Another
Oh, cool. Another audio thing.
So the hook, it's slightly saturated, just with the valve. I love this part of the. I mean, I love the others too, but I always use this part on a lot of things. So it's there's a little saturation only on the
We
hook.
can weather any storm whenever. And you and I, whenever we can weather any storm together.
Just like this thing that I love.
You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever.
Not the verse. The verse is clean.
Yes, we forever and more. Just know we in the zone like never before.
Cool. And then they're both going into this aux.
We can weather any storm whenever.
Some EQ.
And you, yes, we forever and more.
Cool, some
Just know we in the
attenuation,
zone like never
classic.
before. Till we exit the doors like Jim Morrison.
What I
Till
do
every
here,
gem is stone in the
it really
Smithsonian.
helps to just keep the how's it called? The low frequency is pretty much in your face. So when the singer, it's not close to the mic. You have different takes. You come from different takes. Might be recorded. Even in different days. This really helps to just,
Oh yeah, that proximity changes
definitely
a lot.
it'll fix the proximity problem for sure.
Yes, we forever and more. Just know we in the
Is there
zone like.
anything happening?
What is it?
Are there any like doubles happening in the chorus, or
Yes.
how much of this is like single vocal versus?
Now I'm just mixing the lead vocal.
Yeah,
But yeah,
let's
we
do,
do-
Let's do through these
Oh,
the rest of this plugin chain, and then we'll go to the.
Yeah,
the
but we
other
do have a
vocals.
lot of doubles here.
Oh,
I
okay.
think like
Oh shit. Yeah.
5.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
They say that every story ends. We,
Oh wow.
yeah,
you and I together, we can weather any storm whenever.
yeah.
Whoa.
And you and I, whenever we can weather any storm together. You and I together, we can weather any storm
Yeah, I
whenever.
fixed the problem of the proximity effect with these, and
They say that every story.
classic, and go wrong with the lo-fi.
They say that every story ends, we forever and more. Just know we in the zone like never before.
A lot of times I tend to do the 15 bits thing that I like. Kind of like, you have definitely more detail on the high frequencies with these, and sometimes it's kind of like, what do you want? Almost all of these tracks come from MPCs that are definitely not like,
Yeah.
you know, high quality
Yeah.
technically, but they sound really good. So it's, yeah, that helps with that too.
They say that every story ends, we forever and more. Just know we in the zone like
Still
never
to make
before.
it a little more vintage.
Till we exit the
Sound
doors like Jim Morrison.
separation.
Till every gem is stone in the
Love
Smithsonian.
Yeah.
I go insane whenever I flip
Did
the
you
Sony
like?
on.
That's a
It's
lot
get
of layers of saturation
Yeah.
on there too.
I
That's cool.
usually don't saturate this. It's not even a lot of I usually put one saturator usually.
Mm-hmm.
In this case we have 3, but very like this is 0.2. This is not super.
Yeah, you're just kind of like taking
But
just
yeah.
a little touch here, a little touch there, and
Yeah, 3
yeah,
layers.
nice.
Here.
They say that every story.
Of course, I've EQ'd. I've done a lot of different things. So the compression that I had here now I've more dynamic, because if you cut and boost certain frequencies, of course you're not gonna have what you can see here after what we've done here. So I'm gonna do some
Gem
more
is stone in the
compression to it.
Smithsonian. I go insane whenever I
And as you
flip.
can hear, there are some mouth clicks, some noises that you
Till we
can
exit the doors like Jim Morrison. Till every gem is stone in the Smithsonian. I go insane whenever I flip the Sony on. It's us again
hear.
in the Smithsonian. I go insane when.
All of these things. If I hear it too much, I use isotope mouth to click a little bit, and then I always use a split.
I love that plugin.
Yeah.
Dude, I haven't
always.
tried this one
Till
yet.
we exit the doors like Jim.
This is Isn't it crazy?
Whenever I flip the Sony on, it's us
That
against
sounds
the
like
world with Sonya
one of my
Blade and
cats
Scorpion.
will come
Your
up to me
picture
and
perfect,
put
always
his
start
little
to
mouth
trip.
next to my ear and
It's crazy. And now it's perfect. Like,
Till we exit the doors like Jim
I call it-
Morrison. Till every gem is stone in the
So,
Smithsonian. I
do
go
your,
insane whenever I flip.
let's hear the Oak Sound sales pitch from one of you guys, because I love Soothe, but I haven't tried Spiff, and I haven't looked into it enough. Like, what's the difference between Spiff and Soothe?
Spiff just works with transients and Soothe with frequencies and like the actual signal. And,
So Spiff is more like dynamic.
more dynamic EQ, if we can call it like that.
Got it.
Spiff is more like transient designer, but with like unlimited bands, sort of automatic, just like Soothe. Like you select a range and like, okay, just work on this range,
Yeah.
and you have the depth that is threshold or it's different. Like I love these guys because they created something that is totally new. No one thought about a plugin like these, and I use it for a bunch of different things, percussions. You can do everything you want.
Nice.
But yeah, this is on my template.
I gotta try that one.
Yeah, I love this. Yeah, no, for
I've
sure.
only
And it's,
have Soothe, but like even in some of the situations where like the times where like Soothe has saved a drum take, you know, where you just can't get that hat to not be obnoxious, you know, like those types of usages, I feel like it just totally saved me.
Oh yeah. So with Spiff, if let's say that you have a drum loop all together with percussions, you might want to work on just one instrument, and of course you don't have the separate tracks of it. With Spiff, you can really tweak it.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Nice.
And then just one EQ. And usually I don't do that much. Like yeah.
Storm. Why look at these massive pedals and crooked rows? Look how we rose from a perfect storm. Fire, lightning, and thunder on every record. With every verse and chorus, the message is spreading like embers in a burn.
Yeah, this is like the final high pass. Whatever I have to do, it's usually very small amount of EQ on the last one. And linear phase, the last one for sure. So yeah.
Storm. Why look at these
The
massive.
second layer of this, what I did right now, after the compression is.
Saying whenever I flip the Sony on, it's us against the world. We Sonya Blade and Scorpion. You picture perfect, always thought that you could be a model. You never had
Wow.
a portrait like
That's doing a
Frida
lot for,
Kahlo.
like, it
And if
doesn't
not, go
look like it's
against
doing
me
a
and
lot.
me.
Oh, no, it's all of these plugins. Just this
Oh, you're
part.
okay. I thought you were just bypassing. I'm like, what?
Not the compression though. Not the first part that I committed.
Right.
Love is
Yeah.
unconditional, forever set in stone. Little Sedona, just love witnessing you grow. Together we can weather
This is
any
solo,
storm,
so
and
of
if
course
the weather gets
you
cold,
hear
just
that
know I'll
it's
never let you
kind of aggressive. Of course, it's solo,
say
but
that every story ends, we forever and more. Just know we in the zone like never before.
almost sounds smooth from here. You know?
Yeah.
But of course, you've seen there's a lot of compression, distortion going on. Actually, not a lot of compression, to be honest.
No, I was gonna say that. Like, same with this.
It depends.
Oh yeah.
Here it's heavy. Yeah, here's like, yeah, heavy.
Yeah.
See, I don't
The
I
EQ
don't-
and the saturation, like you said, is definitely just like a little notch here, a little notch there.
Yeah.
Like it's not like super aggressive. Yeah, the compressor's definitely.
Yeah, but
definitely
it might
putting some
happen
work.
with the EQ. Like the other day, I had the pool thing, and I was just boosting. I was all the way up, and that's where it sounded
It just-
good.
yeah,
and
sounds good,
pool tech all
sounds
the way
good.
up 10K. So yeah,
Nice.
it really depends. Yeah.
Let's take a moment for a sidebar about cats. We're starting a segment on the show. Steve and I both are insane people who have 3 cats. And we want to start sharing photos of your cats in your studio. So if you've got cool pics of your cats in your studio, send them in to us. We don't have a name for this yet. Maybe Cats on Racks. Maybe Scratch Bay.
That's
Who
pretty good.
knows? I picked,
Scratch
Steve,
Bay
I didn't
is
tell you
my
this
vote.
beforehand, but I have picked an honorary winner for this episode, and that is Katie Trevini, who is an engineer in
Oh,
the UK
yes.
that we featured on the PMC channel a few times. And I'll show you, she posted a picture of her cat sitting in front of the PMCs the other day
yeah, texted to
that
me.
I just thought was adorable. So I'll put a
Yeah.
picture up for everybody to
Scratch
see.
Bay is my
I'll send
vote.
it to you, Steve, and on the grams.
Yeah,
Nice studio
let me see
too.
this cat.
Yeah, really nice studio.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back to our regularly scheduled
Cats.
programming. If you got
Cats
a
are
cat
important.
pic, send it in. We're working on a giveaway series maybe for whoever has the best cat pic. We're leaning into cats.
We're
and
not giving away a
plants.
cat, but
Yeah, we're not going to give away a cat. There's plenty out there. In LA, if you want a cat, come
No.
to LA or Istanbul and you just walk down the street, you'll find a cat.
I might have some pictures of my old studio with my cats in it. I'll send it to
Send them in. Maybe you'll win something cool.
See?
Who knows? All right,
this
cool.
cat
So,
is like perfectly
Right?
lined up
and a tuxedo cat.
with the
like,
speaker. That's
2 of mine.
fantastic.
Adorable.
Oh,
Shout out Katie Tavini.
what a cat.
You rule not just because you take good
Yep.
cat pics, but because you're a good engineer as well. All right, cool. So maybe let's look at. Did we want to look at the back or the doubled vocals and
Yeah.
stuff, or
Yeah, for sure. So this, well, let's start with this part right here. There is the bridge. This is a clear example of not redoing something when it was already good. So I've imported from his session his effects, and he loved this part. So I didn't try to like redo from scratch whatever he did. I kept all of his effects in just on this part, like delete the rest of the song. We did it together, but yeah. On this part, I pretty much took the first part of my chain, maybe tweaked not even that much. Definitely kept his EQ and all of his effects right here. It's like, no, yeah, just one
Classic.
chord. Yeah, it's classic. Yeah, bro. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do too, but you know. So a lot of times when they give me sessions, I try to keep as much as I can that I like, and I might tweak it if I need to, but yeah. All of the rest of the background
That's a cool
vocals.
section.
What do you say?
I say that's a really cool section. I like all that stuff that's
Thank you.
happening.
Yeah. So
You and I together, we can weather any storm whenever.
dubs, one hard left, hard right, center, 45 left, 45 right, and the EQ is pretty much usually what I do is well, let me see what I've done here. Still commit and all the automations, yeah, every time. Pretty much kept almost the same chain, but it's not copied and pasted.
And this is for all the background vocals?
Yes, if you see, like, I have way more EQ here, and then yeah, the final EQ. So it is similar, but it's not the same. I always try to not to just copy and paste, everything.
Are you doing much alignment and stuff with those, or do you leave them like...
Yes. We had on this one, he might have edited, but I usually use Revoice Pro.
Nice.
Yeah, I love Revoice. And then we have some, I think they're like doubles and ad-libs at the same time. I think so. And they're, yeah.
Sonya Blade and Scorpion.
Oh yeah.
Sonya Blade and Scorpion, yes!
Portrait like Frida Kahlo. And if not, go
Dude, these
against
lyrics
me and
roll.
Mia Wallace.
Yeah,
We
for
off the
sure.
top, headless horsemen and Sleepy Hollow. We ready.
Yeah, they're like,
Stone.
yeah, double.
Just love witnessing you
They're
grow.
still very dry because like, this type of music don't need too many effects in general. But I did, I won't even say a lot, but all of these effects that you see here, it's like, I would say like vocal production that I did.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to, like, if I know the artist, to just try stuff, and then if the artist doesn't like it, it's one
I will
second from
say,
there.
I think, like, when we first listened to it, you got that art down of, like, it doesn't sound like there's a bunch of when you listen to the song, it doesn't sound like it's drenched in reverb.
Right.
And then you solo out the vocal and you're like, oh fuck, there's a lot of reverb.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I think that's like one of the things that separates like an amateur from a professional is like being able to do that, to get the right amount of liveliness without it sounding drenched and washed out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And in general, like with effects, I try not to have the lows and the highs. So if everything's a little like lo-fi, usually fits better in the mix. So yeah, it doesn't sound like the 80s again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have my, if you can see here, I'll show you what I do. I have some tracks ready to go. They're actually these ones. In my template where I just have to pretty much just pull the words where I want the effect on this audio tracks with a bunch of plugins on, and I just pick them. That's what I do, and then commit, because I might do a lot of automations, filtering. I don't even know what I'm doing here, but like usually it's EQ, but it might be anything. I don't know. Yeah, this is just simple, but I'll show you some stuff. So
I love taking the words and putting them separately. I feel like when I finally realized that saved me so much.
yeah, if you do that with
time,
automations.
instead of trying to like send a single thing with automation is such a
Nah,
nightmare. Yeah.
it's a stress, too much time. No, like this, it takes seconds. But yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, simple delay with distortion. So I do tweak all of them. It's not that I have the same effect but I have a lot of effects like ready to go inside of these tracks. Like this is something that I might not use, but like this is a distorted delay, but I might want delay with I don't know, autotune before. I might want, it really depends. Doubler, no doubler. So in this case, I'm filtering here. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, and also there is a sidechain too with the lead vocal, so it doesn't. So I think I've done it in probably all of the tracks. Sidechain. I don't know what's the difference. Definitely volume, probably EQ. Okay, this is interesting.
Cool. I like how much feedback's on that.
There's a lot of feedback on this thing.
If always thought that you could be a model. You never had a portrait like Frida Kahlo. And if
Yeah, I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never listened to. I don't use the solo button. Like this is my first time probably hearing all these things in solo. So
Yeah.
solo, but
They tell you not to use it.
I don't. Yeah, I would get so. I don't know. I would overthink everything. So
Yeah, they call that in photography and videography pixel peeping. You know, if you like zoom in, like of course it's gonna look like all messed up, but if you look at it normal, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one. Super long one. I don't know, 16. Ping pong.
in the burning forest and every direction.
Yeah, these things, and then I committed them. Let me see.
And you got a lot of that stuff going on. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I did commit them. And also reverb. So I do a lot of one-shot reverbs. Is just one-shot reverb. It's like super long though.
Set a stone.
Usually my favorite is reverb because you can hear
Yeah.
it's like the S's they shove that effect.
Like a shimmery kind of.
Yeah, when you really want to hear the reverb, like reverb for sure plays.
Till we forking it, I said condolences. This love is unconditional.
Small details.
Yeah.
Till we exit the doors like Jim Moore.
Yeah, it's really
And-
subtle.
Yeah, really, really subtle.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I have harmonizers here and a lot of other stuff that I'm not using because it's a very simple song, But yeah, and there's the commit, clip gain and everything. But yeah,
Very cool. Yeah, this is like one of the songs that's like 90% vocals carrying it.
exactly.
Love it.
Don't want to overdo.
That's
for
cool.
sure.
So maybe we should step back from the mix and talk about some of your life lately. I don't know how much of this you can talk about. Can you talk about the working with Kanye and like?
Yeah, of course. In 2021, my colleague IRKO started working with him for the mix of Donda, right? And he had me like helping on the album too. So that's when I got introduced to the team and started working. And during the last time, IRKO pretty much brought me to Italy to record Yay. And that was like intense, like more than 2 months recording every day. And then
And you're
after
not
the-
in like he doesn't record in a studio
No,
usually,
no.
right?
He's
It's
a
like
full mix engineer.
random places.
Oh, yeah. I didn't always never recording. I never seen him in a recording studio, at a session of him. So no, yeah, he was usually hotel rooms, but it could be anywhere. Could be it doesn't matter. Could be a kitchen, but usually it was a living room. Yeah,
Wow.
anywhere.
A lot of
yeah,
Isotope RX. Or do you even?
Yeah, it really depends. Like sometimes you think that it will be just the scratch of the song, like the freestyle, and it'll end up being the actual recording. So at the end, it might be like, all right, this was actually the take. So you have to, a lot of RX for sure, and all of these AI new plugins that are.
What's the
Oh,
rate
yeah?
for
Go ahead, Steve.
like those sessions? Are you bringing like a laptop, and does he have his own kind of chain, or how does that all work for those?
Well, I brought my gear too, which is very simple. One laptop, one interface mic, simple gear. He has his own gear, but of course, he doesn't know how to use the gear, so you have to kind of figure it out yourself. It's not that you have a studio ready to go, so it's always better to, just be ready in any situation. So definitely like a normal setup, super quick. You might change room or state during the same day. And
Or
still-
state.
Yeah, it might happen. So, so yeah, just be
That's
fast.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. And also, you're on a call 24/7, so
It's like
you just gotta
exhausting, probably.
You got it, but
I mean, like it's great, but
yeah, but the thing is, you gotta be fast. Like so, if you have to change room, or if you have to record other people, or if you have to move to the writing room or his room. It's really really every day is different. You don't know what you're about to do like every day pretty much.
Wow.
That's cool. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually working on Vultures 2 and 3. I'm working for the most with the writing team right now because, of course, I got to stay here too and everything. But,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been from August till now. Like, I don't even know how many songs we wrote, but
Wow.
long numbers, so many people in the team, so many studios. So what we do here is pretty much bring the writers and the producers and just send to him, the songs, and that's it. So
Wow.
he's always starting the songs, but of course he might want, producers, writers. So yeah,
It's like a
it's
factory.
cool. It is a big factory. Yeah, and right
That's
now
cool.
we're not in the like in Italy we were all in the same space, so
Mhm.
it was cool. Now it's still cool, but of course you just send files over, so it is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, more normal. Right
And
now.
it seems like from what you've told me about other people like Wiz Khalifa, it's like way more chill, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's super chill.
Yeah.
Or actually, Ty during the same album on Vultures, Ty Dolla $ign, he will record himself super fast, so he doesn't even. It really, yeah, like every artist is different.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Ty's like you just set up his template and leave it there, and
Like, is he sending it to, or in the same room he's recording himself, or like?
yeah, he would literally just have his mic here, the laptop,
And you're
just,
like on the couch, like texting.
yeah, girls or exactly. No, yeah, for real.
Dude, nice.
And when the song
That's
is
the
done,
way
it's
to
like,
do it,
all right.
man.
Yeah. He's the best for sure.
That's cool. Yeah, I always know that I can never text you before like noon because you've been up all night.
Oh yeah. Or I mean, I might answer to you at noon, but that means that I was up from the day before.
Yeah, exactly.
That
yeah.
happens. Yeah, quite a lot. But no, I'm not a morning person for sure. And it's not because of me. It's my clients and everything. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Steph, thanks so much for being on the show, dude.
thank you, Tom.
It's
as
been
always.
a pleasure, man. Yeah, and I knew you would be a fun one. The Italians got a lot of love for you guys. The Crema al Cafe, come on, God's gift to Earth. And don't forget, check the description. When over $850 in AudioThing plugins, pretty sweet. You should sign up and try to win it.